Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Shamir bin Musa. My number matrix is BT12703 and now I'm presenting part 1. The question is construct appropriate graph or charts to compare the relative frequency and cumulative relative frequency in each dataset. This is the data for domestic and international airlines. Firstly, create data classes, then calculate the frequency of the domestic and international classes according to the Airport Council International Asia Pacific data given. Then, for domestic airline data, divide the frequency with the total frequency of data by each row to get the relative frequency data in each class. To get the cumulative frequency data, it may be calculated by adding each relative frequency data from its predecessors in the table. The last value should be the same as the equal of the total, which is 1. For example, relative frequency of data below 100,000 is 0.125, and here I take 3 decimal points for each row and add them to get the cumulative frequency data. Then, construct a combination graph to compare between the relative frequency data and the cumulative frequency of data for domestic airlines data. For international airline data, it is as the same as the domestic airlines data being calculated, where I create classes of data to calculate the frequency, then divided the frequency and total frequency to get the relative frequency of data by each row. Then calculate the cumulative frequency data by adding each relative frequency data from its predecessors in the table. The last value should be 1.00. And then construct a combination graph using histogram and OGIF method to compare between relative frequency and cumulative frequency data. That's all from me. Thank you.
Next, part 2, calculate and compare measures of central location in each dataset. So we need to find the mean, median, and mode. First, to find the mean, we need to add dataset domestic airlines. So our sum of the result that's 15,424,717 and divided by the number of result is 24. So the mean is 642,619. 0.654 and result for international airlines mean is 740,062.38. Next, to find the median, we need to first arrange the number in ascending. There are 24 numbers in the set, so the median is average of the two middle numbers, so we add them together. Therefore, the median for domestic airline is 217,716. Same goes to international airlines, so the median is 137,048.5. There is no value most frequently in the each dataset, so there is no mode. So we can see that international airlines mean and median is greater than domestic airlines.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Eva Natasha Ezwa and my number metric is BB22110241. So I will present part 3, which is calculate percentiles and construct box plot in each dataset. This is the range of dataset in episodic order. I will present the domestic data first. To calculate the percentiles, we need to use formula n plus 1 multiply p divided to 100 to look at the position of percentiles and use this position to find the percentiles as shown in the slide. Because the value is not an integer, so we need to interpret between two observations correspond at estimated percentiles. So this is the answer for 25 percentile. Next is for the 75 percentile. Next is the formula to detect the outliers. The formula of interquartile range is quartile 3 minus quartile 1. The lower outlier, quartile 1 minus 1.5 multiply IQR. Lastly, the formula of higher outlier, quartile 3 plus 1.5 multiply IQR. The data for lower outlier is negative, so there is no answer for lower outlier. One is the box plot displays 5 summary value. Next one is international data. Because of the formula is same, I will just show the answer. This one is for the 25 percentile. Next is for 75 percentile. formula to detect the outliers, and the box plot displays 5 summary value. Lastly is the box plot of each dataset. This one is for the domestic data, and this one is for the international data. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Bibi Najah Hikmah binti Hamzah, metric ID BB22110391, and I will present part 4, measure of dispersion. There are 4 contents, that is range, mean absolute deviation, variance and standard deviation, and coefficient of variation. First is range. The formula is maximum value minus minimum value. For domestic, maximum value is 429,181 minus 37312, and the answer is 423,1869. For international, the maximum value is 8808,742 minus 52937, and the answer is 8755,805. As we can see, the range for international are more higher than domestic. For mean absolute deviation, first we need to find the distance for mean by minus the data and the mean by one. After that, add the distance together and we will get the sum and divided the answer using the number of data, and we will get the answer for domestic 626677.8117. Meanwhile, for international, still using the same formula, the answer is 1050,281.983. As we can see, domestic mean is higher than international, meaning many of the data values are spread out further from the mean. Next, variance and standard deviation. To calculate variance, we should put the square of each distance for mean that we got and then add all them together and divided the sum by the number of data minus 1. The answer for domestic, which is 9.76051. After we got the variance, we can find the standard deviation by just square root the variance. So the answer for domestic is 987,952.8785. Same to international, with the same formula, the variance is 3.76475 and standard deviation 1940297.628. As we can see, domestic has higher value than international. That means the international has low dispersion dataset. Coefficient of variance. To find this, just divided the standard deviation by mean. The answer for domestic is 1.5371, 99623, and international is 2.62074048. Since international higher than domestic, so we can conclude that international has greater level of dispersion than domestic. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi to everyone. My name is Muhammad Hanafiah Pasha Ihsan Muhammad Kasawa, and my metric sum is BB22110419. We'll explain for part 5 is calculate and interpret measure of association. First is the sample coverage. The formula for sample coverage is xi minus x bar multiply yi minus y bar and divided by n minus 1. So like you see the example, we will use the data from the table that given, and the final answer is 61.96. Therefore, the sample coverage is 61.96 divided by 24 minus 1 and equal to 1.3810. Next is the population coverage. Same formula, but at the end the formula we use the capital letter of N is the number of data value. Like you see, we use the data from the table, and the answer we get the 331.